has been placed on administrative leave after hundreds of books, many of which contained LGBTQ plus themes, were sent to a landfill last week. A spokesperson on Monday confirmed to Sarasota Herald Tribune that Shannon Hussinger, New College of Florida's Dean of the Library, was placed on administrative leave. The book disposal and Hussinger's leave are the latest developments at New College, a small liberal arts school in Sarasota that has undergone a significant transformation over the last year as Governor Ron DeSantis has led a campaign to turn the school into the Hillsdale College of the South, referencing the private conservative Christian liberal arts school in Michigan. New leadership was installed while many students and longtime faculty fled to other universities. The new board voted to terminate the gender studies program, after which DeSantis celebrated the college as the first public university to push back on gender indoctrination. Recall that on August 13, hundreds of books, many of which were on LGBTQ plus topics and religious studies, were seen overflowing from a dumpster behind the Jane Bancroft Cook Library, after which pictures and videos of the heaping pile of books incited immediate backlash and widespread media coverage. That's all on the news for today, but before we go, another look at the top stories. Federal government asked to meet Monday over strike notice. And on student loan, NEFUND clarifies Southeast institutions exclusion. Fake degrees, Uganda, Kenya request verification of Nigerian students' credentials. And away from Nigeria, New College of Florida Dean on leave after LGBTQ plus books dumped. That's the news. It was compiled by Nima Ibrahim and edited by OLUBUNMI KAZEEM. Do not forget, for the coverage of your educational seminars, programs, fairs, trainings, competitions, among others, you can call us on 0702 507 4268, or you can send us an email via educationmediaservices@gmail.com. Education today goes nowhere. Please stay with us. Welcome back. And if you're just joining, you're still on to Education Today. And right now, we'll take the school in focus with Amina. Good afternoon, Amina.
Good afternoon, Nima. Good afternoon, and welcome to the School in Focus segment, where we take a look at institutions of interest, provide a background to their establishments, and their administration, and some notable alumni. I am Karim Aminat. Our school in focus today is the University of Calabar, UNICAL. University of Calabar is one of the federal universities in Nigeria. It is located in Calabar, Cross River State, South-South geopolitical zone of Nigeria. University of Calabar grew out of the Calabar campus of University of Nigeria, UNN, Nigeria, which began functioning during the 1973 academic session, with 154 students and a small cadre of academic administration and professional staff. In April 1975, the federal military government of Nigeria announced that as part of the National Development Plan, 7 new universities were to be established at various locations in the country. The University of Calabar was one of the 7 universities set up under this program. Located in Calabar Municipal, an ancient city with a long tradition of culture and contact with Western civilization, the already developed area of the university occupies a 7-hectare site on the eastern side of the town, between the Great Kwa River and the Calabar River. The architecture was designed by John Elliott. Additional land has been acquired on both sides of the Great Kwa River for the development of the university. It was established by decree to fulfill the development of the universities. It was established by decree to fulfill the traditional mandates, its motto, knowledge for service. Academic service actually commenced in the 1973 to 1974 session, in what was then a campus of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, UNN. As a federal institution, the university strives to bring about an atmosphere conducive to patriotic interaction between people from all parts of the world, including Nigerians from all states and language groups. Founded at the peak of the cultural renaissance of the country and situated in an area of the country distinguished for our rich culture, the university prides itself as a significant academic custodian of the rich culture of the people through the performances of the Department of Theatre Arts, which was established as enviable record for itself within Nigeria and abroad. UNICAL ranks among the leading and the largest of Nigeria's second-generation universities. Currently, the student population stands as 40,645. From 3 faculties in inception, Arts, Science, and Social Sciences, the university has since expanded to 12 faculties and 3 institutes. UNICAL offers undergraduate and postgraduate programs in various fields, including arts, science, social sciences, management sciences, law, medicine, engineering, agriculture, education. Postgraduate programs, master's and PhD in various fields. Part-time and sandwich programs are also available. Alumni of UNICAL has pronounced many notable UNICAL has pronounced many notable alumni, including politicians, former Governor Donald Duke, Lake Imoke, Ogezi Ikpeazu, Godwin Akpabio, the current Senate President of Nigeria, Senator Ita Enang, Victor Udoma Egba, Grace Bent, Osita Izu Naso, Benjamin Kalu, Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, former Minister Dr. Betta Edu, Emeka Wogu, John Ode, and among others. Academics, Professor Akaneren Essien, Professor Florence Obi, the current UNICAL VC, Anthony Ayine, Auditor General for the Federation. Business leaders, we have Tony Elumelu, Udoma, artist, Iniedo, John Okafor, Queenette Agbako, and many others. Admission, UNICAL is one of the most sought-after universities in Nigeria, especially in Nigeria data for undergraduate admission. especially because of the serenity of its environment and cultural affinity of Calabar, and the discipline of its staff and students. To secure admission, applicants need to sit for the UTME by JAMB or through direct entry admission using JUPEB, NCE, or HND, depending on the choice of course. Admission requires and processes may vary depending on the program and academic session. It's best to check the university website or contact the admission office for the most up-to-date information. That's it on our School in Focus today. I remain Karim Aminat. Education Today continues in a moment. Please stay with us.
Welcome back, and right now we take the icon of the week with Aisha. Hello, Aisha.
Hi, Nima.
All right, you have the floor.
Good afternoon. You are welcome to the Icon of the Week segment, where we consider the life and times of individuals that lived inspiring life and contributed immensely to educational development in the world. I am Aisha Hussein. Ngugi wa Thiong'o is a Kenyan actor, playwright, essayist, and academic who is described as the leading novelist of East Africa. He was born on 5th January 1938 at Kamiritu, Kiambu Country in Kenya, of the Kikuyu descent, and baptized as James Ngugi. He grew up in a peasant family and experienced the Mau Mau uprising and British colonialism in Kenya. He went to the Alliance High School and went on to study at Makerere University College in Kampala, Uganda. As a student, he attended the African Writer Conference held at Makerere. In June 1962, and his play, The Black Hermit, premiered as part of the event at the National Theatre. At the conference, Ngugi asked Chinua Achebe to read the manuscript of his novels, The River Between and Weep Not, Child, which would subsequently be published in Enyan's African Writers Series, launched in London that year. With Achebe as his first advisory editor, Ngugi received his BA in English from Makerere University College, Uganda in 1963. He also earned a bachelor's degree from the University of Leeds in 1967. Also in 1967, Ngugi also began teaching at the University of Nairobi as a professor of English literature. He continued to teach at the university for 10 years while serving as a fellow in creative writing at Makerere. During this time, he also guest lectured at Northwestern University in the Department of English and African Studies for a year. While a professor at the University of Nairobi, Ngugi was the catalyst of the discussion to abolish the English department. He argued that after the end of colonialism, it was imperative that a university in Africa teach African literature, including oral literature, and that such should be done with realization of the richness of African languages. In late 60s, this effort resulted in university dropping English literature as a course of study and replacing it with one that positioned African literature, oral and written, at the center. In 1977, Ngugi embarked on a novel form of theatre in Kenya that sought to liberate the theoretical process from what he held to be the general bourgeoisian education system. His project, a landmark play, Ngakia Ndida, co-written with Ngugi wa Thiong'o, was a commercial success. It was shut down by the authoritarian Kenyan regime 6 weeks after its opening. Ngugi was subsequently imprisoned for a year, adopted as an Amnesty International prisoner of conscience. The artist was released from prison and fled Kenya. He was appointed Distinguished Professor of Comparative Literature and English at University of California, Irvine. He previously taught at Northwestern University, Yale University, and New York University. Ngugi has frequently been regarded as likely candidate for the Nobel Prize in Literature. Ngugi wa Thiong'o works explored themes of colonialism, identity, culture, and social justice, making him a prominent voice in African literature and champion of decolonization. Ngugi has published many works, including his novels Weep Not, Child, The Rivers Between, A Grain of Wheat, 1967, Petals of Blood, 1977, Devils on the Cross, 1982, Mati Gari, 1989, Wizard of the Crow, 2004. His plays include The Black Hermit, 1962, This Time Tomorrow, 1970, The Trial of Dedan Kimathi, 1976. Essays and fictions include Homecoming, 1972, Detained, A Writer's Prison Diary, 1981, Decolonizing the Mind, 1986, Moving the Center, 1993. His achievements include first East African to publish a novel in English, which is Weep Not, Child. Leading figure in the African literature Renaissance, advocate for African language and culture, imprisoned for his political activism between the years of 1977 and 1978, exiled in the UK and US between the years of 1982 to 2002, awarded numerous literary prizes, including the New Start International Prizes for Literature 2019, nominated for the Nobel Prize in Literature 2019. Ngugi was married to Njeri, and the marriage is blessed with kids. 4 of his children are published authors: Tingugi, Mukoma wa Ngugi, Ndusi wa Ngugi, and Wanjiku wa Ngugi. That's all on the Icon of the Week for today. I remain Aisha Hussein. Education Today continues in a moment. Please stay with us.
You're still on to Education Today, and we celebrate the great, essayists and poets Ngugi wa Thiong'o. We'll go on another quick break, and when we return, the discuss segment would be live. Please don't go nowhere.
Imagine she's your child, reciting the Holy Quran with her melodious voice. No time for worldly hip-hop songs. Mashallah! These children and many others, even from very humble backgrounds, have memorized the entire Holy Quran. No more excuses for you. Close your eyes and take the decision. Al-Ghazali Quran Memorization and Islamic Center has provided a platform for your child to complete the memorization of the Quran within 2 years, inshallah. Admission age is from 8 years and above. Al-Ghazali Quran Memorization and Islamic Center is located at number 1 Omini Street off Anibaba Street, Ikorodu, Lagos, Nigeria. Telephone 0810-007-7004 or 0818-841-1607. Quran memorization does not affect your child's education. It enhances the brains. Al-Ghazali Quran Memorization and Islamic Center is powered by Abdul Ganiu Olusegun Awokoya Islamic Foundation. Al-Quran, guidance to the universe.
يوم يبعث
ẹ̀kọ́ dára púpọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé táwa yìí sẹ́.
Welcome back. You're still on to Education Today on Light Radio, and right now we're moving into the discourse segment, and our guest is very much here with us. Today we are discussing education for the gifted and talented, the imperatives. Education for the gifted and talented, the imperatives. And joining us on the program today, we have an educational administrator, lecturer, researcher, educational consultant, and our in-house analyst. We're talking about no other than Mr. OLUBUNMI KAZEEM. Good evening, Mr. KAZEEM.
Good evening, Nima. Good evening, Amina, and good evening to all our listeners. It's a pleasure to be here as always.
All right, do not forget you can be part of the discourse by sending your comments and questions to 0809 738 4000, or you can drop them as comments via our live video feeds on Facebook and YouTube. So before moving into the discourse proper, we have a quiz question, and the question is, in what year was University of Calabar established? Do not forget we featured the University of Calabar as our school in focus for this edition. So University of Calabar was established in what year? Send your answer to the WhatsApp number 0809 738 4000, or you drop it as a comment under our Facebook or YouTube live feed. The first correct answer wins the prize. All right, without further ado, what does education for the gifted and talented mean? You know, saying this, anyone would wonder which one is gifted, education for the gifted. Are we not all entitled to education? So what is the concept of education for the gifted and talented? What is it about, and what exactly are the goals of this concept, Mr. KAZEEM?
All right, thank you very much for that question. Let me probably start this way. Just look at our hands.
Okay.
Yes. All these fingers, probably, for those who actually believe in God, you see all these fingers were created by God, right?
Yes.
Yes.
But the reality is, and they're all fingers. You will not say this is a finger and this is not a finger.
Yeah.
But the reality is they're actually different. Now, imagine if at the end of the day you want to treat all of them as the same size, the same height, or the same length. You know, that'll be a problem. All right, let me also probably go this way. Yes, I know how to play football. At least I've been playing football since I was a kid.
All right.
But can I compare myself with a Lionel Messi, a Cristiano Ronaldo, or a Kylian Mbappe? Now, if ordinarily looking at all these people from different countries, and someone says, "Oh, all of you," says you're all probably, in fact, you probably, let me say, Mbappe is probably younger. So okay, yes, Ronaldo is my age mate, and Messi, people probably belong to the same generation. Okay, fine. All of you, let me lump all of you together in the same school, and all of you undergo the same kind of training.
Okay.
And the same kind of opportunities. The implication is that would be a problem for me because I will not be able to operate at the level of those guys.
Yeah.
But then automatically at the same time, it will also be a disadvantage to them because they will now have to wait for me. And at the end of the day, so it's a disadvantage to them, it's a disadvantage to me.
Yes.
So the idea of the gifted and talented and education directed at them is a situation where we know quite well that yes, we are probably, might say we are created equally, but we are not equally endowed. There are some, minorities amongst us that they are unique creatures of God with unique talents and endowments. And this set of people, you can find them in every community, every society, every country. Now, so they are 1 in a million people. So what you're trying to say is that an education that is directed at identifying this set of people, this 1 in a million set of people, and coming up with an educational program that would meet their unique capacities and capabilities. Understanding the fact that if you mainstream everybody the same way, we would be denying them and depriving them of the opportunity to utilize the talents that they have. So that is a need. As much as we are trying to provide education for everyone, that is also a need for us to now have a differentiated form of learning for this particular set of people.
Okay.
So that at the end of the day, we can tap from the opportunities and the benefits of the endowment that they have, would assist them to enhance such gifts, such talents, will not bore them. Because at the end of the day, they'll look at everything everyone is like, this thing is just too cheap. So they'll lose interest.
Yeah.
If we actually don't give them an opportunity, something that will challenge them and force them to also work hard. The same way probably I'll be working hard. Imagine that probably, now some of you are actually art students. So anytime you see anything calculation, I just want to run away.
Definitely.
Now, there are some people, the calculations that they can do with their brains, it's probably operating almost at the same level, even with some calculators, even some faster than some calculators. Now, imagine such a brain. And you now say that, we need to probably suppress such a brain to operate at the level of someone that will say, okay, 2 times 2, and say 2 times 2. And we'll have to probably. So you now want to, place everybody on the same pedestal in the name of because we are all equal. There is no one is no preference, justice, equality, and things like that. See, if you are talking about, and that's why for me a lot of times we talk about the fact that what we should champion is equity and not equality. So in this case, you are saying education that preaches equity according to your level of intellectual capacity or skills or any other talents that you have. So that's the idea. So the goal is, let us give them education that suits them. Let us find a way, education that will be able to identify, because it's not just saying you have to be able to identify them.
Yes.
You must have a program that would be able to suit their unique capacities. Then you must have provisions for such a particular education without jeopardizing the interests of other people.
Yes.
Those who are probably not equally gifted. Then again, is now that you challenge them so that at the end of the day, they can also continue to work hard. They will not just be keeping, sitting idle, feeling superior, that there is nothing to work hard over and things like that. Yes. Then again, is you now give the opportunity to also meet with those who are probably their contemporaries.
Yes.
So that at the end of the day, they can compare notes, they can challenge themselves, they can compete. And from there, you now give them tasks, something that they'll be able to produce. So that at the end of the day, we can tap from the benefit of what they have. And at the end of the day, too, you also now provide for their welfare and their well-being. Because at the end of the day, too, because they are unique,
yes,
they tend to be lonely. Because you only have very few people that can operate at their level. And that sometimes it makes them withdrawn from everyone. So they feel, they are it's not as if they feel they are outcasts. That's just the reality. No, there are some, you say probably some say they are aliens. Because some of those things they do, you really cannot fathom it. Now, someone probably who has not really gone for any serious kind of education and is able to do some, calculation like, where did you come from? Or someone that is able to speak so many languages, or probably just read a book once and is able to master almost everything that's already in that book. Then you know that these people are geniuses. Now, it's not everybody that is a genius. So, and at the end of the day, you must also have a kind of education that is targeted at this generation. So
Yes,
that's just the
yes,
idea
yes.
behind
Thanks so
it.
much. That means there is a specific education for a
There
specific.
should be,
Yeah,
yes, for
yeah.
this category
So,
of students.
what is meant for an art student will not be given to a science student, right? So let's just put it
Don't
that way.
misplace priorities.
Yeah, the thing is just that whether it's art, whether it's in the sciences, okay, those are, look at it. We just talked about probably Ngugi wa Thiong'o now.
Yes.
So this guy is something else. If you look at his works, you're talking about someone probably on the same pedestal as the likes of our Wole Soyinka,
Yes,
Chinua Achebe, and things like that. So imagine the first novelist from East Africa.
Yeah.
That's to show you that, see, that's one in how many millions of people of his generation. So now imagine that, and let me just give you this. In the case of Ngugi, it was a teacher of his who discovered and said, "Guy, you're going to Alliance School." That's probably the kind of school that can probably try to meet up with what you have as a quality that we can help you develop. So we're talking about some of those unique sets of places and
so
programs that would,
thanks so much for that. So
right.
the next question is, what are the key imperatives for educating the talented and the gifted, and what are the importance?
Yes.
All right. First is, I would say that the key imperative is the issue of identification and support.
Okay.
You must have a particular system that will be able to identify this set of people and to give them the required support that they require to be able to function effectively. Beyond that is also differentiated form of instruction, because you don't give them the same instruction as those probably are not on the same level with them.
Yes.
So that's key. It's an imperative that we have differentiated instruction, a kind of instruction that fits their level of thinking, their level of intellectual capacity. So let them be able to also, then we also talk about the fact that acceleration and enrichment. Now this one is saying that let them be able to move at their own pace. So if their pace is, there are some people probably they will finish a book in a year. Some people will finish a book in an hour. And at the end of the day, all that they have read, ask them any question, they'll produce it.
Anytime,
any day, wake them. See, they don't even need to read before they can actually respond to some of these things. So that's, we'll talk about accelerated and enrichment. Then social-emotional learning. This one is also the fact that, understanding that because of their unique nature, the man is good, he's a genius. And you withdraw this of Michael Jackson, for instance. The father did not allow him to play. Every now and then, even as a kid, always in the studio. Now, he grew up as a rebel because he feels that his